Hello to all of you wonderful moms out there. This is episode 8 of the Solve for Mom podcast. I'm your host, Noki Kapasi. Are you struggling to get on the right trajectory? I know the feeling. You want to be the best version of yourself, especially as a mother. You also want to do the things that you like to do. Well, today's episode is going to be next level personal development. By the end of this episode, you're going to know exactly what life planning is, why you should start life planning, and how you can create your own custom life plan. You've heard me throwing around these terms sometimes, purpose, passion, mission, vision, and you're going to actually finally see how everything is connected. Okay, guys, let's stop winging it every day, and we're going to finally get on a clear path for success. Welcome to the Solve for Mom podcast. Do you love spending family time together every day but realize that your own interests have fallen to the wayside? Do you have a long list of things you wish to learn but you're so tired from trying to balance it all on your own and frustrated from not planning ahead to make it happen? Have you been mom for so long that you've lost track of who you are as an individual? Hi, I'm Anoki. I'm a PhD biomedical researcher, homeschooling mom, and life coach. I too poured myself into being a mom and thought I had to stop doing the things that I love to do. I was struggling to make time for myself, had lost my sense of direction, and kept second guessing myself. I wanted to take back control of my purpose and passions, but I kept telling myself there'll be plenty of time for that later. Until I did what was natural to me. Using the methods of a scientist, I created plans to prioritize my values, organize my time, and take action towards my goals. If you're ready to go questing for your purpose, level up your learning, and confidently pursue your passions while still being the awesome mama that you are, you're in the right place. In this complex equation we call life, it's time to sharpen our pencils and our minds and solve for mom. You might have figured out by now that I love planning. It's probably my type A personality kicking in, but I love structure and organization. I like how with puzzles, every little piece just fits together and there's a place for everything. I also get this comfort in knowing what's next. In fact, and please don't hate me, but I am one of those people that likes to read the end of the book first. I know, gasp. But before you groan, please hear me out. See, I read a few chapters, I get to know the characters, I form a bit of an attachment to them, and as the story unfolds, I get to see the struggle that's being set up for the hero. I often get worried or anxious or curious, or I'm holding my breath to see what happens to them. And see, if I don't know what the outcome is and how the story ends, I basically miss out on most of the book because I'm so anxious and stressed or rushing just to find out what's going to happen. I miss all the details and the nuances, the beautiful and playful language. I miss clever transitions. I don't get to pay attention to cultural and geographical descriptions. By reading the end of the book, I'm able to relax and soak in every page. And people often ask me, well, doesn't that ruin the whole book for you? I mean, what's the point of reading it anyway? Well, for me, there is still so much joy in the journey. I actually think I find it more enjoyable because, like I said, regardless of the ending of whether it's going to be a happy or sad ending, I'm able to pay attention to all the fun little details. Okay, there's a point to my story. If our lives are a book, would you want to be stressed and anxious and holding your breath and rushing through things? Or do you want to be present in your life and enjoy your family time? You can appreciate those small moments with your family, the sparks of wonder, and experience all that adventure that's out there in store for you. Look, I understand that nothing in life is a guarantee, but I do think that planning is one of the best ways to get you to the outcome that you hope for in life. It's kind of the equivalent of reading the end of the book, except this time you're choosing the ending that you wish for. And then you get to go back to the chapter that you're currently at, and you get to write the rest of your book, the story of your life. And you can make sure that you get to that spectacularly fulfilling finale that you have all planned out. Now, since this is Life Planning 101, we're going to stick to the basics here. Let's start with what is life planning? Life planning is creating a roadmap that you're going to follow. It's like your life's GPS, if you will. It's basically a navigation tool that guides you on a purposeful path. And there's so many other analogies you can make with life planning and a GPS. Like a map on a GPS, there's an obvious starting point and a destination point. You can view it zoomed in or zoomed out. You can even play with alternate routes if you want. And the life plan lays out the series of steps that you're going to need to take to make it to your final destination. It also includes landmarks that you're going to pass, but in your life's roadmap, that would be milestones that would mark your goals or successes. The point of life planning is to help you achieve your personal objectives, though you could also include professional ones too. So just like in my experience with skipping to the end of the book, your life plan's going to help you override your fears and doubts and anxieties because you're not going to be lost on the back roads anymore while driving in the dark. You're going to see a clear path to where you are and where you want to go. You're going to have a plan. It's going to be your plan that's going to keep you on the right trajectory. Now, that doesn't mean your journey is going to be easy. It's still going to be a lot of hard work, and you're still going to face challenges and bumps, but that's part of personal growth. So it's okay if it takes time to execute your life plan because it's a plan that's basically for your whole life. You will be growing and stretching yourself, and if you follow your custom-made roadmap, that growth is going to require time and patience. Next, let's talk about why life planning is important. I hope I already gave you some compelling reasons for why you should start life planning, but let's go a little bit deeper. The biggest thing for me is that I feel that my vision is possible with a life plan because I see my dreams clearly articulated and routed out. I feel more in control, that I have a say in my life. I get a boost in confidence and I'm motivated to grow and challenge myself. I'm ready to push myself to reach my goals. It's like when you're trying to get fit. You could try to fumble around with workouts, or you could have a workout plan, a clear strategy of how you're going to reach your fitness goals very systematically. You're going to be much more motivated and confident knowing that you have a plan. And then there's also logistical reasons why you want to have a life plan. It's going to dictate how you spend your time. It serves as a reference point for every time you need to prioritize something in your life. It's a way to cross-check. Would this expense or activity or goal, etc., serve my ultimate objectives? So in that way, it's going to become a very important decision-making tool. So you might be wondering when the best time to create a life plan is. In short, and if I have to put it bluntly, my answer is now. You can start any time. If you don't have one, now is the best time. It's like asking, when should I start eating healthy? Well, always. So start now. Having a plan can only help you. It's not going to hinder you. It's a guide, but not a rigid box. There's still plenty of room for spontaneity or pivots and unexpected transitions. Remember, it's going to be custom developed just for your goals in your life. The next question is, who needs a life plan? If we're talking about adults, I truly believe that everyone needs a life plan. But I especially think that all moms have to have one. This is central to my vision of Solve for Mom, where life crafting is a part of every motherhood. Life planning is how you get to be your best self during motherhood. It is the main method for helping you to grow your individuality while also prioritizing family time. Keep listening to my show every week, and this is going to become crystal clear. Where the best place for you to do your life planning depends on your level of experience. I don't want technology or perfectionism to be your bottleneck. The best is, of course, if you work with a mom life coach. For beginners, if you're just trying to start brainstorming or you do want to tackle this on your own, I really just suggest something as simple as a notebook or typing in a Word document. Something to keep in mind is that your roadmap will evolve. It's never going to be fully set in stone. Your big vision and your top-level components that feed into it usually don't change, though. Occasionally, some little components of it will. It's like when you're driving and you end up taking a detour because maybe there's a road closure, right? In life, that could be represented by some opportunity where the door's been shut on that. Or when you're driving, you may spontaneously stop at a vista point that you discover on your drive. Well, in life, there are things like that happen as well. For example, newly discovered passions that you decide you want to pursue. And so as your life plan evolves, you may want to use some more sophisticated ways to track and plan. Excel is a really gentle way to do this. I personally like to use Notion. It's pretty much my central hub for almost everything that I plan. So now we're going to get to the meat of it in terms of how do you actually create a life plan. And since this is an introductory episode, I'm going to keep it pretty high level and really explain the structure of the life plan. But stay tuned to my show each week because you're going to be able to piece together how to develop each of the different components of this life plan and how you can customize it for your own life. One of my favorite problem-solving strategies is to work backwards. We actually did this in episode 4 with the check and chunk method for developing timelines for home projects. It's where you figure out what you deem is the final completed project, and then you work backwards to build in the milestones and the checkpoints for your timeline. So I'm going to actually link that episode in the show notes in case you want to revisit that method, because this is a very similar approach to what I use in life planning. So using this backwards approach, what you would first work on is your vision. This is the top of the plan. This is where your destination is going to be. It represents your future and the impact that you want to have on the world. When you open up your GPS, it first asks you, where's your destination? Well, that's your vision. And you create vision by deciding where you're going to be once your mission is completed and your purpose is realized. And this would be applicable to all areas of your life. The next part of your plan is the mission. This feeds directly into your vision. It represents what you're going to be doing now in order to put your vision into action. My approach that I recommend involves creating a mission statement that articulates your passions and your purpose. This should be ambitious yet achievable. If you want to learn a little bit more about creating a mission statement, go back and listen to episode 5, which was about resetting with confidence. I've actually linked this show as well in the show notes. It talks about how you can find your purpose and identify your passions and use those to create a mission statement. But don't worry, I'm going to have more in-depth episodes on developing your mission as well. Your top-level vision and mission, which include your passions and purpose, are the main sort of overarching plan for your life. And these tend not to change at all, or very frequently at all. I'm going to explain what falls under the top sections of your life plan. But first, I want to mention one component that underpins the entire life plan, and those are your values. Typically, your personal, your world, family values all overlap quite extensively. Your personal values, which reflect your individuality, may also include some extra ideals and beliefs as well. Your values span your entire roadmap. Each component in the life plan must sync up with your personal values. Otherwise, you're going to be trying to achieve things that are not consistent with who you are or who you want to be. So your values are the principles which you live by. They're virtues that speak to your character and who you're trying to be. They represent the core of who you are and what you believe. They can also have a moral and ethical edge to them as well. I'm sure if you spend even like 5 minutes, you're going to be able to create a beautiful list identifying your values. I actually do this once a year or so, and I make a list of all my values that I strive to live by. I circle my top 5. I have to tell you, I've done this for several years now, and my top 10 almost never change. I also bet if you were to compare your values to your husband's top values, they would almost all be the same or similar. It's actually kind of a fun date thing to do. Being clear on your values also serves as an important decision-making tool for you outside of life planning. And the final part of life planning are your goals and decisions. And now we're really getting into the nitty-gritty details of your life plan. Your goals represent the how of it all. Goals are like the stepping stones to fulfilling your bigger mission. Many other things have to fall into place in order for your goals to be successful. Your goals are achieved through informed decision-making, but they also require a lot of other personal growth factors that we're going to work on in other episodes of the show, such as time management or habits and discipline. So if we go back to our driving analogy with the GPS, your goal could be to reach your destination by a certain time. Well, this requires a series of decisions, right? Which car are you going to drive? When do you have to leave? Can you stop for lunch on the way? Do you have enough gas? Okay, so let's take this now to a life vision. Let's say your vision is to live in harmony with nature and spread a greater appreciation for green living because you see us as part of a bigger ecosystem and you're driven by wanting to pass on a healthy earth to the next generation. It's all fine and dandy to say that you have this grand vision, but it's another thing then to try to execute your plan. The way you execute it are through your goals. So a specific goal could be maybe you're going to eliminate toxic chemicals from your house, specifically pesticides and forever chemicals that leach into our soil. And you're only going to purchase green products that are free of all these chemicals. And let's say you want to completely make this transition over in 6 months. So then you're going to have to make a bunch of decisions. What kind of plastics can you buy? What food can you buy? What clothing can you keep? Maybe you have to decide whether you're going to allow certain exceptions for things that you feel are unavoidable. I'm sure you've heard this a lot before, but a very popular framework for goal setting is the SMART framework. It is an acronym, so it involves having a very specific outcome, being able to measure or track your goal, making your goal achievable and realistic. It should be relevant to your overarching vision and values from your life plan, and it should be time-bound or a known end time that you want to reach your goal by. So the way the life plan works is that based on your top-level plan, you are then going to have multiple goals beneath it, and then each goal is going to involve multiple decisions, and they all work within the bubble that is created by your values. Each decision that you make as part of your goals will require you to be very clear on everything that is above in your life plan because they map out to that desired outcome. So these are your day-to-day decisions that you're going to have to deal with. Can you see now how your life can be super simplified by life planning? You're going to eliminate anything that is not in line with your life plan and that doesn't serve your personal, world, or family vision. Just like that, you have now found yourself with a whole bunch of time. And look, I'm not saying that you don't have to do things just because you don't want to do them. Self-development and personal growth can involve doing a lot of things, including things you don't want to do, especially if it serves your ultimate vision. And it almost certainly is going to involve doing hard things. It's part of the growth process. You're going to have to feel uncomfortable, but then you grow into that position, and then that's going to be your new normal, and you're going to strive for something new. So when it comes to things that you don't want to do, you can't cop out and not do it just because it's hard. But there might be a very valid and real reason why you don't want to do it. And you can always examine your life plan and see if that's the case. Because maybe it's just something you're not passionate about, or maybe you don't believe that it's fueling your purpose. Those are very good reasons why you might not want to spend your time a certain way. All right, ladies, congratulations. With this one episode, you are on your way to clarity in your life path and better decision making. You're going to be able to eliminate stress and self-doubt in your day-to-day and find more time to do the things that you want to do. That is how powerful life planning is. So in this introduction to life planning, we discussed the who, what, where, when, and why, and how of life planning. I provided the main framework for life planning and how to get it started, and I really hope that you do that today. If you want a really easy place to start, make that values list first. Then give it a couple days and go back and listen to episode 5, which is to reset to pursue your passion work with confidence and create your mission statement. If you want more help, reach out to me at hello@solveformom.com. I'm working on building more resources around this, so stay tuned. If you email me, I can make sure you have access to more resources on this topic, and you can have a say in what content I create next. I hope today's episode will help you create time and freedom to pursue something you love to do. If you enjoy this show, please subscribe and tell other ambitious mamas about it. Who knows, you might even make a new friend by sharing a tip. It's all free. By the way, it would be amazing to hear what you think about the show when you leave a review. After all, my passion is to make this a great experience for you. Thank you for making my show a part of your day. I'll see you next week for another episode of the Solve for Mom podcast with Anoki Kapasi.